Hey everyone, Alex Kaiju Fan is coming at you all with another video. Today I'm going to be doing a theory video where I actually take a little bit of a backtrack in regards to how my prior theory videos have been. Usually in my Ultraman theory videos, it goes towards undermining the titular hero and sort of being more on the side of the villain and justifying how they could or should have won. For this instance, I'm going to be doing my best to try and justify a hero's victory. And in my opinion, this episode of Ultraman in the original 1966 series is extremely overlooked because even though this is one of my favorite episodes and it features one of my favorite aliens and one of my favorite redesigns of an alien, I still watch this episode and ask myself, how was this even possible? What I mean by this is to basically summarize, Ultraman features the return of Baltan, Baltan 2. This is the second time that Baltan will try to take over Earth in the series. The third time was, ironically, a Mephiles hologram. And to check out our Mephiles theory video, there will be a link in the description below for those of you all who did not watch that one. But to go back to Baltan 2, Baltan initially starts off his plan, and his plan is that Ultraman cannot be in two places at the same time. While there is one Baltan who is on planet R with a trap to ambush the Science Patrol and Ultraman, there will be another Baltan 2 to deal with the rest of the Earth and thus take it over, thus allowing Ultraman to not be able to defeat both Baltans or capitulate being able to try and do so. In the actual episode, Ultraman manages to defeat Baltan and then uses this teleportation move to defeat the second Baltan 2. I know this is a little bit confusing, right? There are two Baltans, but then there are two Baltan 2s. This is technically the third Baltan, but it's not really the third Baltan because it's still a part of Baltan 2. Either way though, Ultraman manages to defeat a Baltan on planet R, teleport from planet R to planet Earth, and keep in mind this whole teleportation move is really inconsistent in my opinion because Ultraman has just fought a battle against Baltan, and it's initially stated by the narrator in just the Japanese version and the English version that this teleportation ability will cause a huge drain on Ultraman's energy. However, Ultraman doesn't seem to be taking much damage because his color timer doesn't even blink. And then after defeating one Baltan and teleporting all the way back to Earth, Ultraman also manages to defeat the second Baltan 2 all without having his color timer blink at all. And this is something that I always just thought made Ultraman seemingly overpowered in this episode. He manages to take on two of the same aliens back to back and use a brand new ability which was stated to have caused a lot of energy to have drained upon him, but it is clearly evident from the episode that Ultraman doesn't have any energy drained from him because his color timer doesn't blink at all, thus there is not really a sense of danger. Well, for today's theory video, I am going to be doing my best to justify why Ultraman simply didn't have his color timer blink in this episode. And I believe it all comes down to a very simple reason that the Baltans may have not really considered. Now, when it comes to Ultraman, I'm pretty sure that a lot of us who have seen the original Ultraman series can probably surmise that if Ultraman fights for approximately 3 minutes on Earth, and takes enough damage that his color timer will blink, and that if he simply doesn't wrap up the battle, he will never be able to rise again. However, this is an aspect that I will believe justifies Ultraman having his color timer not blink at all for the entire duration of this final battle. Now, the Baltans relocate their base of operations to planet R, and planet R is a planet that is very close to Venus. Now, this is only taken into consideration. Ultraman's color timer blinks in Earth's atmosphere because of how dense the atmosphere is and the distance it is away from the sun. Now, the fact that the Baltans relocated to a planet near Venus, we can assume that planet R is significantly closer to the sun than planet Earth. Therefore, when Ultraman fights the first alien Baltan 2 on planet R and manages to defeat it relatively quickly, we can surmise that planet R, due to it being closer to the sun and potentially having a less dense atmosphere, because again, if you take a look to planet R, there doesn't seem to be much greenhouse gas occurring or pollution going on the planet because it is essentially just barren. Again, this allows us to justify why Ultraman would have potentially not had his color timer blink in the first battle because he would have been closer to the sun, allowing him to accumulate more energy, and would have potentially been on a planet with a less dense atmosphere, again allowing him to increase his power exponentially in contrast to when he was on Earth. That's why when Ultraman manages to defeat the first alien Baltan 2 and teleport to planet Earth, it doesn't drain as much power as the audience would previously think because he's not on Earth where he is restrained by those conditions that actually place him within the parameters of attrition and losing energy in the first place. And then when Ultraman appears on planet Earth and fights the second alien Bolton 2, he still doesn't take as much damage because the battle doesn't take as long as 3 minutes and he manages to wrap it up relatively quickly. Anyway, I hope this all makes sense to you, and maybe this is in fact a possibility. This was something that I always thought about for years when I would first watch this episode in Ultraman, and I would always question myself, why is it that Ultraman fought two enemies back to back and used a brand new teleportation move that was allegedly reported to have caused a lot of energy drain, and still never have his color timer blink? Well, my answer to this was because that Ultraman was not limited by the boundaries that he would be if he had used these abilities and fought on Earth for the first and the second battle, but rather he had increased power when he was on planet R due to him being closer to the sun, since planet R was stated in the episode to be close to Venus, which Venus is of course closer to the sun, and he potentially may have not had the atmospheric boundaries that would have caused these limitations in the first place. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. What do you think about this theory? I hope this definitely created a new perspective to have on Ultraman. It is honestly something I just thought of just tonight, and I hope you all enjoyed my explanation. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Bye.